So your username is PK Monger. Now that's probably a wordplay on some scale, but can you explain?
Yeah, so I wish for this one I had a more logical explanation.
Yeah, I hear in your voice it's kind of Australian kind of a tint.
Yeah, I don't really sound like I come from Liverpool anymore.
I just took advantage of the new kits coming out, and I bought my son last year's kit. It was like $12 or something, and so yeah, he's gonna be like a full kit wanker.
You could get a random Everton dar on Twitter. You could probably do a better job of running this football club. It's just disappointing.
I'm representing Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker today.
I'm representing sleep-deprived fathers.
Yeah.
Just black shirt.
This is you/Logan Me, and he doesn't like Ponzi schemes, by the looks of it. Malaysian authorities crush 1,069, nice, crypto mining rigs with a steamroller. Alright, I'm not gonna pretend that I know what that means. If you can just tell me where you live and where you were born.
Yeah, so I was born in Liverpool, but I've been pretty nomadic, moved around a lot, and I now live in Brisbane, Australia.
You/Sheedy's left foot. I assume he's referring to the left foot of Kevin Sheedy, the former Everton player, and his left foot. He probably liked that left foot because he named his profile after it. Just talk about Rafa again, if you wanna.
Yeah, Rafa Benitez, not a huge fan at the beginning or when the rumors were circulating. I wanted anything but that man.
PK Monger! Canadian lad. Likes PK.
My name's Kyle, and on Twitter I go by Sports Edits. I'm a big Everton fan. If you've seen my account, you'll probably know. I basically just do digital artworks, have everything to do with Everton. I sell merchandise, all types of stuff, mainly to do with Everton, and just a little thing I do on the side, and it's just nice to interact with the Everton fans online and get some support, basically.
Kyle, also known as Sports Edits, follows me on Twitter. So should you, by the way. This great Twitter account. Follow it. He makes some cool designs, and he recently had his designs stolen by an NBA player, and I was a big fan of this NBA player. Bobby Portis. Great guy, but stealing designs from Everton fans, we don't like that. But it was resolved. He got some compensation, so no need to worry. QT Sex Kitten, I know, great username. But he was talking about how he was about to convert his newborn into an Evertonian. So, do you have a plan yourself?
Yeah, I just took advantage of the new kits coming out, and I bought my son last year's kit. It was like $12 or something, and so yeah, he's gonna be like a full kit wanker. It's got like the stripe, and then it's got shorts and socks. It's the whole thing. It's amazing. So he's almost 3, and so it's for 3 to 4 year olds. Yeah, he watches matches with me sometimes because I'm responsible for like waking up with him on the weekends. My wife does the weekdays because I work. So yeah, during the season, a lot of matches start here, between like 7 and 8 a.m. So it can be like pretty early, but not for him. My kid's up at 8 a.m. at the latest.
Yeah, so I was born in Liverpool, but I've been pretty nomadic, moved around a lot, and I now live in Brisbane, Australia.
So where have you been around throughout your life?
Really sort of mostly in and around England, then a little stint in Europe, a stint in the Middle East, and then came over to Oz about 15 years ago now.
Yeah, I hear in your voice it's kind of Australian kind of a tint.
Yeah, I don't really sound like I come from Liverpool anymore. I think I've got one of those weird sort of hybrid accents these days.
Have you kind of settled now in Brisbane, Australia?
Oh yeah, look, love it here. It's it's a great place to live. It's it's awesome. It's just a really nice, relaxed city. The weather is fantastic. You can't have any complaints. Brizzy's a great place to be.
So your username is PK Monger. Now that's probably a wordplay on some scale, but can you explain?
So I wish for this one I had a more logical explanation behind it. You tend to make your first username when you're quite young. I probably would have been about 9 or 10 at the time. And I just started following football, and my favorite player, again, I hated Barcelona, I hated Spain, but I loved Gerard Piqué, my favorite player, and it's still someone I really do enjoy watching. In terms of monger, I really was obsessed with that word. Again, it's a little bit of an irrational obsession. You know, a fishmonger or a warmonger is someone who's obsessed with someone, so I had an obsession over Piqué, and therefore I was a Piqué monger.
Oh, that's hilarious. What are your thoughts on the brilliant signing of Asmir Begovic?
I mean, we're clearly taking the season very seriously. You know, I think our title charge has already started here. Definitely a Champions League bound at the very least. But no, I think he's decent backup. I think I would have been a bit happier if we just signed Olsen permanently, or we could have got someone like Romero.
Yeah, no, I just think it's just the most meaningless transfer ever, and there's just no point in ever acknowledging it's happening, but we're doing it right now. Boy, was I wrong. Champions of Florida, you'll never sing that. So you told me you play the piano. So who on the Everton team do you think is most likely to have played the piano?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I feel like Tom Davis could potentially have played some kind of instrument. It would probably be the guitar, knowing how much of a hipster he is. Maybe Luka Ding. I don't really see any of the bigger lads like the Yerry Minez or the Abdoulaye Doucouré sort of having the finesse to play a piano. I know Mina's good at dancing, so I'm pretty sure that's where his time went as a kid in terms of musical commitment.
You don't see Richarlison playing the piano? I think he would love to sit down in a quiet room and just express himself.
I tell you what, I do think he's the kind of guy who, if there's a piano in the room, he'll want to play it. I do get the sense that he's not the most musically ambitious though, especially when it comes to hearing his songs. I love the passion, but I do think he's a tad tone deaf, as much as I love the lad.
Yeah, I think he's the kind of guy, you've got a piano in a room, he enters the room and is like, wow, this piano is right here, let me just bang it, let me just bang the notes or whatever, just use all my power and just play whatever, and it's just horrible, and everyone is like, stop, and he's like, no way mate, and he just keeps on.
I was about 10, well I was 10 in 85 when Howard took us to the league championship, and we just had this team of superstars. But my favourite player was Kevin Sheedy. You think of how they sort of hype up how Ronaldo can take a free kick or how Beckham could take a free kick. This guy was phenomenal. He was deadly. There was a game he played in where they were ordered a free kick on the edge of the D at the top of the penalty area, and he took the free kick and put it in one corner, and the ref made them retake it, so he took it again and put it in the other corner. The guy just had this amazing wand of a left foot. That phrase you hear commentators use all the time, he's got a sweet left foot. This guy had the sweetest of them all. He could score goals, he could cross the ball, and that team was phenomenal.
After the derby, it was just cloud nine. It was amazing. Never been done in 25 years. And we all thought Carlo was the next best thing. But we just seen ever since then, we were on a downward spiral. The only good things that came after that derby was Pickford's resurgence as one of the best keepers in the league, and I don't care what anyone thinks he is. And probably Godfrey since then has been just immense, as everyone knows. But apart from that, yeah, it's just been underwhelming.
You went to an Everton game. It was probably the most memorable game by an American toughie.
I mean, yeah, it was, and it was also it was Landon's return game to Goodison, so that was interesting as well. This is the match against Bolton in 2000, I think it's 12 or 13. I mean, anyone who's there who watches this will remember that it was an utterly miserable night. It was pouring rain. Tim Howard scored a goal from his own box. It bounced over the head of
Adam Bolton or something.
Yeah, that ginger keeper who played for Bolton. And yeah, I was sitting in the Gladys End, right down near the goal actually. So I was kind of right there when it happened, and it was extremely exciting. And then the rest of the match was just awful. We just got completely played off the pitch. It was terrible, but it was definitely memorable. Just like going to the pubs before the match. I actually made some pretty good friends with some Bolton supporters who were just blown away that an American would give a shit enough to come to Goodison Park. And just like being at the stadium and stuff was really fun.
How come you went to exactly that game? Because I remember I didn't catch the game because it was like a late night kind of game. I think it might have been on like a Monday or something. So how come against Bolton of all clubs?
Yeah,
like...
I was actually on vacation in Paris, and I have a friend from middle school. My best friend from middle school was studying in London. I went across the channel and I visited him, and then I roped him into taking a bus with me to Liverpool. And it was basically just because of the timing, like I was I was on the continent for a week and a half or 2 weeks, I think, and it just so happened that was the game that was on. We did have to take a night bus home, which was a little rough, but other than that, it was so much fun.
I feel like we're just gonna be underachieving for the next couple of years as well, like we've been doing. But at the same time, you could keep the likes of the players we have right now in type Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Luka Dean, and these solid players, and just supplement them with better players. But we don't seem to have the finances or the financial fair play to be able to do that.
The players that we could let go, that won't even get us that much money to help us sign these players and help free us from financial fair play. So it's such a hard position for us right now because we don't have the funds or financial fair play to actually do anything and change the squad completely, which we need to.
You've watched Howard's Way, right? Any thoughts on that?
It's such a good sort of documentary. It just brings back so many memories, and it's kind of one of the things that I'd say if you're new to Everton or you didn't get to witness that time frame, just do whatever you can to watch that movie, because it kind of explains really, I guess, the essence of our club and our fans and how we kind of want our game to be played, I guess.
Yeah, I think I have it right here. So we have the movie here, but almost more importantly, I've got Everton 1001 Premier League goals, which it's got all the goals.
That's pretty good. I think I've got somewhere lying around, I've got my 1985 vinyl FA Cup song and an old VHS of the history of Everton FC there. I just don't have a VHS player or a record player, but they're nice mementos.
Just can you just try to do a bit of a Scottish accent, possibly? Can we possibly, in theory, hear a bit of a Scottish accent? Can you maybe try it? Big disclaimer, this is not a super weird and random question. PK Monga has Scottish heritage. That's how I came up with the question. It's not like I would ask a random Canadian, just give me a best Scottish accent, although that could be funny as well, but just a bit of context.
So I will be wary of my dear Scottish friends in the subreddit, but I have heard my fair share, especially from my grandparents. I do need something to say though, so you know what I will do? Give me 2 seconds. So right here we have the McSqueen Haggis Bible, the literary quality of pure Scottish food. And there are a number of sort of Scottish dishes in here. So I'm going to read a portion of a recipe in my best attempted Scottish accent. Alright. Whiskey, wine, beer, and other friends. The combination of whiskey and haggis is a bit like an old married couple. Everyone assumes it is a match made in heaven and that they never argue or fall out. I almost feel unpatriotic in suggesting that maybe they should split up and that the haggis should have a fling or two with a pint of beer. I do like whiskey, but I have to say I've never quite found such a highly alcoholic drink to be a great soulmate for any food, never mind haggis.
That's probably better than my Scottish accent, that's for sure.
I've done a few accents. The best accents I could do are the languages I can speak, of course, so English, French, Spanish. I have taken a couple of Swedish lessons, but that's not an accent I can do very well.
Swedish?
Yes.
Let me hear it. I understand Swedish like fluently because, you know, here in Scandinavia we speak basically the same language.
My extent is a couple months of Duolingo, but I have the Jag talar inte svenska.
Obviously, living in Australia, you fall into the category that of people that have to watch Everton in the middle of the night at times. So, what's the worst experience you've had watching Everton in the middle of the night?
Look, I think it'd be the cup final against Chelsea. I think kickoff would have been not long after midnight, and you know, at sort of 3 a.m. when the game wraps up, and you've just lost a cup final. It's a bit soul destroying. But then on the flip side, you know, the last minute winner or the game where they come through at 3 o'clock in the morning is pretty special when you're dancing around the house and screaming and shouting and cheering and trying not to wake everybody else up.
The last few years with Mashiri at the helm, you've kind of been able to have a positive outlook on the season. But this is like the first year where you're just like, this is just going to go shit, isn't it?
Yeah, again, it just goes back to Ancelotti. Like, I seen that and I was like, right, this is the turning curve. We've got a big manager now. He wants to, you know, create a big project, and he knows what he's doing. He knows how to win trophies. But we've gone so far back from that point in such a short amount of time. And it's just typical Everton, you know. We're just fucked, basically.
I'm not into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? But I've heard of it, and I think it's very like popular in the mixed martial arts kind of realm. Can you kind of explain to me what it is and how you got into it and stuff?
It focuses mostly on sort of being on the ground rather than standing up, although there is sort of standing aspects to it, takedown aspects to it. But like you said, it's now sort of a standard practice in mixed martial arts. I don't do any of mixed martial arts. I prefer not to get punched in the face. Also, I'd like to be able to talk to my son when I'm, you know, like 50 and 60. So yes, I started it 11 years ago. I had just finished an electoral campaign where I was working 90-hour days.
Jesus Christ, 90-hour days. That's like 1,300 days consecutively a year. Oof.
You know, eating terrible food, and I was just so out of shape, and I had a job that was like an hour and a half away from me, and so I was trying to think of ways I could exercise on the way home, and I'd heard someone had mentioned jiu-jitsu to me, and I thought, I'll just go check it out. I found a place right on my way back from work. The first day I went, I just completely fell in love with it. I got totally sucked into it, and now, you know, pretty much everywhere I go, I always bring some sort of kit with me to, just in case there's an opportunity to train. Yeah, I just can't recommend it enough to people. You don't have to be athletic to start. You don't have to be anything to start. I've seen every type of human being come into Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and you know, most stick around. The ones that do, they always like are able to kind of pull themselves together, which I think is an amazing thing, and have fun doing it. I think that's the biggest thing, is we just have so much fun.